So what are we going to call it?
Well, it's just a mother and daughter talking.
Just a mother and daughter talking.
Yeah.
I like it. So,
Okay. All right, back
I
to me,
made this note of things that we would talk about, but you
right?
put,
And I added stuff to it.
I know we made numbers. It's supposed to be a checklist. We could check it off when we are done talking about it.
Yeah, but I like numbers. I'm a numbers kind of girl, you know.
Okay. All right, let's talk about you. What about
All
you?
right.
You're annoyed
Well,
because of your dogs,
no,
which
I'm
I
not
feel like
annoyed. I
is
mean, I
bringing the vibe down.
the vibe. Um, okay, Sophie is scratching something behind me. So, not sure what's happening. Oh dear, ring light's moving. Sophie, what are you doing? There's my
We
dog.
can't see.
Okay. Well, anyhow, just so you know, there's a big cone. There's a blow up cone, multiple cone situation. And yeah, it's been a bit of an ordeal, and I'm doing my best, like I told you earlier, to hold it together. And you snickered at me, which I didn't think was very nice. But we
What
don't
was
have
I
to air
supposed to
that
do?
out.
Well, well, I'm sorry. And you said, well, there's nothing you can do about it. Okay. I mean, true. I was just trying to be sympathetic and say that I'm sorry.
I know. You know what? I am a little grumpy about it.
I think you're sensitive. You're overly sensitive right now because you're grumpy.
I am overly sensitive about it. So Sophie's surgery went really well. It was a complete tear of the CCL, which is the equivalent of our ACL. I took her to an orthopedic surgeon specialist in a big city, and she did very well. And we're 2 weeks post-op today, and the physical therapist came and said we were doing exceptionally. Um, and I had to
So then
leave
why are
her
you still so
today.
worried though?
Well, because I left her today to go to work, and hold on, I have to move you. Um, this
Okay,
doesn't it look like I'm
what day
looking in
is
the
today?
camera more? Today's
Yeah,
Monday.
today's
Yeah.
Monday. The holiday weekend and these dogs for context. I am dog sitting right now. Well, I'm not supposed to be dog sitting right now, but I ended up with a dog. The people who owned the dog, I was supposed to just be watching the dog over Thanksgiving. The people who owned the dog, their trip got extended due to some extenuating circumstances outside of their control, and that's fine. But I'm like, I was supposed to be home today, and now I'm like, I don't even know what day it is because I'm with these dogs for another 10 days because I'm the kindest person, I think, on the face of the planet.
Yeah, I'm not sure how the topic got changed to you. We were talking about me and my problems.
Well, I was just saying that I don't know what day of week it was. I don't know what day of the week it is.
Yeah, so today, Samson, my dog with the good legs, decides that he's mad because I've closed the blind to the window that he normally looks out of in the room that they stay in. And so he just barks and jumps and all day long. And even though I gave him this morning, I took him for a huge walk, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and gave him a trazodone, which
And he still
Tiffany,
barked all day.
yeah. Tiffany, who I work with, was like, oh, so now we're medicating the healthy dog. I'm like, okay, so you bring ethics into it because you're an RN. I get it. But yes,
Yeah, no,
I'm
we're medicating
medicating my
everybody.
healthy dog.
I think
So,
we're medicating the
anyhow,
healthy dog, and we may or may not be medicating the healthy human too. I don't know what you may or may not be taking, but I feel that there might be a pill around just in case you needed it.
oh, Danielle. Anyhow, I hope that Sophie is not getting too much exercise in this room with Samson, my crazy dog, who's got all four good legs, who's mad. So
Well, typical,
I
typical,
know. So
typical.
anyhow, my life that has no drama ever has a little bit of drama because of this. And it's
Well,
causing me stress, which I'm not a big fan of. We
yeah.
all know. All right, so back to you. You're dog sitting, and we have to be really careful not to be super boring on this podcast. We need to be fun.
I am dog sitting. I am dog sitting, yes, for one very good dog and one very good puppy, but emphasis on puppy because he's super naughty. But it's just because he's little. He's a very good dog. He's just pees on everything. So that's what all of my energy has been focused on. But I spent some time with my own dog yesterday, which was really nice.
That's
And
good.
we're going to training tonight, so that'll be good. So I'm going to leave these dogs for a couple of hours and take my dog to training. So, anyways, yeah, I that's what I'm doing basically until I come to Florida in 2 weeks.
Well, I'm excited about your trip. What are we going
I
to talk
know.
about? I see you've got some really odd topics.
I have fun stuff to talk about, and you have boring stuff to talk about. So let's talk about something fun first, and then we can talk about something boring, and then we can talk about something fun again.
All right, you go with yours.
I think I don't know. Oh gosh, what do I don't even know. I feel like okay, let's back this up. On Saturday, I took a
You
cocktail
go they
making
do.
class.
Go they do.
I took a
Sorry.
cocktail I took a cocktail making class on Saturday and it was so much fun. And we made two cocktails and I got drunk because I'm a lightweight.
On two
And
cocktails?
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I can see that because I don't
well,
drink a
we
lot either.
made an
So,
old fashioned and a
oh,
daiquiri.
oh, and you drank both of them?
Hell yeah, I drank both of them. It's part of the class.
Yeah, but they're different liquors. You're not supposed to mix the different. I mean, what
Well,
goes in
then
an old fashioned? Ugh, that's
whiskey and
serious. That's just booze.
bitters.
I don't even think there's a mixer in that.
I have my little, I don't know where I put it, but I have my little ingredient sheet that they made. It was so cute. Anyways, yeah, I did this cocktail class and it was so much fun. And afterwards, the class was over at 3. The bar doesn't open until 4, but the bartender slash owner who taught the class was like, y'all can hang out for a little bit if you want to, hang out until we open, have another drink. And we were like, yeah, absolutely. So then I had another drink, which was eggnog based. So
Oh,
I had 3 drinks. I was fine. It was early in the day. I drank a lot of water too. I brought my jug with me. So, but point being, I was a little bit tipsy and I do not know what made me think of it. But for some reason, I just thought it would be so much fun to have a spelling bee.
at
Like,
the bar?
I, well, no, like at my house, but like
Oh,
not that day. Like plan for a spelling bee in the future.
oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be fun
So
with friends, like a game night.
yeah, and I'm gonna have like a trophy or something, or I'm gonna have like prizes or something. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I am hosting a spelling bee party for my birthday now. I was so excited. We're gonna have a spelling bee for my birthday. Mom,
That's awesome.
all my friends are nerds. I was gonna say fucking nerds, but they are. All my friends are
Yeah,
fucking nerds. I
yeah,
am too. It's
yeah.
gonna be so much fun. I'm having a spelling bee party. I'm really excited about it. Anyway, that's my fun news. What's your boring news?
Well, let me just tag on to that fun news and say that part of what we talked about last week about my morning routine, which is super, by the way, and I outlined my 6 games that I play every morning and then text my results to my friend Wordle, Quirtle, Waffle, Letterboxed, Connections, and the
Wordle,
Mini.
Quirtle, Waffle, Wiffle, Biffle. I'm gonna
No,
do the
I'm
Wordle while
getting
you're
I'm
talking.
getting a game. Don't stop. You're supposed to be paying attention to me. I'm getting a gamer's brain, like a crossword puzzler's brain. I
Oh, the
think that's a
mini.
thing.
The
Yeah,
mini is one of the ones that you do.
yeah, and I'm pretty sure I'm getting better at it. Like I do it in 4 minutes, and I only get like
Oh
maybe
yeah.
3 letter hints. So
You
I'm
get
doing good.
hints.
Yeah, I gotta have a hint or two
Oh my
sometimes,
God. Okay, so I usually
Not a
do the
word,
mini.
just a letter, like a letter hint.
Okay, well
A
that's
letter hint.
Mom, it's the mini. Each word only has like 5 letters. You're getting like 20% hints. I'm really bad. I'm really bad at crosswords. Kevin is so good at them.
Well, Kevin is
And
a super nerd.
but it's when you talked about having like a game brain, a crossword brain is like a thing.
I
Like
know.
it's the same thing as like a
I
Scrabble
know.
brain. But people who do crosswords a lot, there will be hints where it will be like, related to two down.
Yeah.
abbreviation for
Right.
blank, and they'll just be like, oh yeah, cheese or whatever, and like they just, and it's like, how, I'm like, how do you know that? Of course the example that I would use is cheese. My brain's always on cheese,
Cheese.
but
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you know that? And Kevin's like, oh, you just know after you do crossword puzzles for a while, you just know. I'm like,
You get a puzzler's brain.
you just know, you get a puzzler's brain with your 4 hints over 5 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
getting your
Make fun of
puzzler's
me.
brain, I guess.
Really not nice. So all right. Have we talked about Paul Conti on Huberman? So Paul
No.
Conti is
He's done okay.
PhD,
Huberman,
psychiatrist, MD, can't remember everything.
you know how for all of his podcasts, and you say that you want ours to be like this, but I don't. Like he'll like post a picture on like, well, okay, he's not doing it. Obviously, there's a team of people that does this for him. But he'll like post a picture of like his face and their face, and it will be like Dr. Paul Conti and like the bullet points of the things they talk about. I have
Yeah.
never listened to the Paul Conti episodes because he looks angry in his picture. And I don't
No,
like
I
angry
don't think
people.
I'm
I
kind of angry today.
know.
Sorry. No, I think that he's okay, so he's kind of monotone. He's super like even keel, Paul Conti.
I'm
Um
listening. I'm just going to pull this up so I can show you the picture that I'm talking about. But I'm listening.
Andrew, he spent 4 episodes with him. And I mean, Andrew's episodes are like 2.5 hours for each
Look at him. He
one.
looks so grumpy.
He's not. He's not grumpy. He's super. I really like him.
He's like,
I listened to all 4 of the episodes. And so one thing that he said that really got me was he talked about trauma driven cycles when he was talking about the structure of self. And
oh,
I
sure.
had never heard that term. And the way he described it, I made notes because I wanted to tell you about it. But basically, when something traumatic happens in your childhood, which, that word trauma is kind of a catchword in my opinion right now. People talk about stuff that's traumatic, and I'm like, is that really traumatic that someone butted you in the checkout line? I don't know if that qualifies as traumatic.
Oh my God.
Not to
Come on,
trivialize your
you're gonna get
trauma.
us canceled.
Okay, well then, can you cut that?
No, and you're not gonna get us canceled. I understand what you're saying, and I think
You know what I
the
mean? I'm
more
not
like,
trying to trivialize it,
of
but
course not. No, I
I
think like
think,
the more like PC way to maybe say it is there's capital T trauma and then there's little T trauma.
yeah, I'm
I
not
think
trying to
that's
undermine what anyone thinks is traumatic, but I do think that there are some real traumatic things that happen in people's lives, especially like childhood things that happen. And basically what he was saying was that when you identify that and then you follow that cycle, and let's say as an adult you something bad happens and you go off the rails for 6 months, that he was connecting that to the trauma driven cycle. And it was just profound to me. I thought, okay, that's something that I have never acknowledged in my life for me or anyone in my life. And I don't know. It was a good episode, Danielle. I think you should listen to it. Not that
well,
you
which
have
one?
trauma.
I mean, okay, we do not need to get into this right now.
You don't
I
have
think
trauma.
there's capital T trauma and there's little T trauma, and I think
You may have a
everybody
little
has
T trauma.
little T trauma. I think
Yeah.
everybody does,
Yeah.
but we don't
Yeah,
need to outline it
definitely.
on the podcast
No, okay. So do you want me
because
to
it's
tell you what
all
I think little T trauma
it's
is?
all your fault. So,
I,
oh my
little
God, you're
T
the parent.
trauma,
The
of
little T
course.
trauma is always the parent's fault. I'm sorry, it just is.
I mean, little T trauma is like your dog dies. Like that's traumatic.
It's your
That's,
fault for having a dog.
yeah. But I don't know. It's hard to define. And you're right. As I talk about it, I'm like, I shouldn't try to put categories on trauma.
Well, it's all relative. I mean, my therapist told me once, like years and years and years ago, that I was, talking about something that I was really upset about. And then I was like, there's no reason for me to be upset about this. Like people live through wars and famines and rape and murder and horrible things. And I'm upset about
Yeah.
like whatever little thing I was upset about. And she was like, it's all relative. Like just
Yeah.
because something like, universally horrific didn't happen to you and this other thing did, it's bothering you and it's affecting you, and that doesn't mean that it doesn't deserve your time. It doesn't mean it doesn't deserve to be talked about and worked out. So I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's the takeaway with trauma, right? Is
Yeah.
it's all relative.
Yeah. And see, I guess the thing that I wanted to point out in bringing that up was that even though you think Paul Conti looks grumpy, um, he's anyone who has suffered trauma, small or large, in their life, I think would benefit from listening to those interviews because um, I certainly will not like I didn't get really even the essence of what I mean. It was a long interview about
Yeah.
this and really good information. And then they went through different interventions, different things that you can do to improve your mental health. And I think it was worth the listen if anybody has ever gone through trauma. And even when you think like, okay, I got it all sorted. I don't know. Maybe. Depends on the trauma,
Yeah. Yeah,
So I would recommend
definitely.
it. They were good interviews.
Well, that's something that I wanted to talk about today too, that we both wanted to talk about, that I think is a great segue, and that is the idea that feelings are temporary.
Oh, yes.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
So can I start that?
oh yeah, sure.
Oh
Well, I was
my
going to talk about how I
gosh.
called you the other day, and I was like, actually, I can't talk about it because if I talk about it, I'm going to cry. I'll call you later. Remember
Yeah,
when
I
I
don't
called you
remember
last
what
weekend?
was that about?
Oh, I do. I was all upset. But because I was running late and I was running out of the house and I was kind of mean to my dog.
Oh, that's right. That's
I
right.
didn't like
It's all
kick
about
her or
dogs
tell
this
her to
week.
leave or anything. But I was like, Dolly, get out of the way. And she like kind of skittered away and like, why are you yelling at me? But I was like in a hurry. And then I was really upset that I was mean to her and I felt really bad and it made me cry.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah.
What occurs to me? You know, our lives have so much niceness in them. And like, I remember when I was a kid, we would go to Disney movies and Grizzly Adams would beat the bears off with a stick. I mean, it's like all these mean things when I was a kid back in the 60s and 70s, actually the 70s, early 70s, I guess. But now it's like, oh, if we speak harshly to our dog, we feel so bad. And I agree, I feel bad too. I mean, I would have felt horrible. Yeah.
Did you ever feel bad like when I was little, if you would like yell at me or something, which was rare, right? Which is why I only have little T trauma, not big T trauma. But on the rare occasion that you would like raise your voice at me or something, like would you feel bad about it? Or would you be like,
Of
no, that was the
course.
right like disciplinary thing to do?
Yeah, of course. I did feel bad about it if it was not intentional. So, and I typically
Well, I
did
was
not
gonna say,
raise
right?
my voice intentionally. I would get stern intentionally. I would use the mom voice and the mom look intentionally um, to get an outcome to make something serious for you. But I will also say, I told a story today. I tell the story all the time where um, I swear that thing that I did smacking your hand when you were like 18 months old, trying to touch stuff you weren't supposed to touch, that got me through puberty with you. It really did. I mean, you were just a good kid though. But you know how, I don't know if you have a lot of experience with the toddlers that push you, they push your buttons. And so you would go to touch something and you'd look at me and I'd
Well,
say,
I
no,
I
it'd
did
be
touch
like a
the hot
light,
stove once. I did
right,
touch the hot stove
at
once
your
and burnt my
Mimi's
hand.
house.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it would be something that, like a light socket or something that you really shouldn't be touching. And I'd say no. And you'd look at me and then you'd go to do it. And when you did it, I would smack the back of your hand. And that only happened a couple times, and you learned that no was no, and you were a good kid. And so I never had to worry about it. I'm telling you, until you were like 14 years old, you never
Yeah, you
challenged me
definitely
again.
ruled by fear, for sure.
No, I did not.
Well, I will say, okay, you spanked me twice too. Twice, because I remember specifically the two times that I got spanked. And I was always afraid that I was going to get spanked. And so I was good because I didn't want to get spanked again.
Like, don't
So
remember the
that is
spankings.
ruling by fear.
I remember the smacking of the back of your hand, but I don't remember the
Mhm.
spankings. What was it for?
Of course you don't. Of course you don't. Oh my God, I was being a little asshole. And yeah, I mean, I get it. I'm like, okay, I don't have kids. And I think, 30 years have come and gone. And like now you're like really never, ever, ever supposed to lay hands on your children. But like, I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't know
I disagree with
because
that. I'm sorry. I disagree with
both
that. I don't
both
think that
times,
you should leave a mark, but I mean, I
yeah.
do think sometimes you got to get your child's attention.
So both times, there was one time we were in the car, and I was probably like 6 or 7. Like, I definitely wasn't like old, but I also wasn't like tiny either. And I think I was just like back talking you really badly, and you were like, and it was as we were like pulling into Mimi's driveway. And I remember like we got out of the car, and you like got me out of the car, and you spanked me in the driveway.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I remember being like, it's almost worse because like the spanking, like it didn't hurt. It was like it's like the emotional hurt that like came with it, like the
Yeah.
embarrassment of like I was just so bad that my mom had to like resort to spanking me. Like I remember
Yeah.
even like thinking that as a little kid of like it's not that I was afraid of being like hit because you weren't like closed fist hitting me. You were like swapping me. Like it's not
Yeah.
it wasn't even like painful. It was like the emotional pain of like, oh my God, I was just so bad. Like that she hit me. You did throw that head of broccoli once.
I knew you'd remember that. I knew you'd
Now
remember
I was
that.
older. I was older when that
Oh,
happened.
you were so bad. That was puberty. That was more
Yeah.
than that was more than 14. I think that was like a 15-year-old. And remember, I very rarely lost my temper,
I
but I
think
was unpacking
I was
groceries.
14 or 15. Is it because I definitely remember like by the time I was 16, because by the time I was driving, like I was good because
Yeah.
then I think
You
I
were
had the
always
fear of
good.
like I think I had the fear of like, well, she'll take my keys away, she'll take my car away. And I'm like,
I
I'm
never
not.
did that.
Well, I think I had that fear that you would. That was like, because, before then it was like no TV, no computer, no Game Boy, whatever. But I was like, well, take the Game Boy away, don't take the car away. So then when I was 16, it was like, I have to be good all the time. So it was definitely before I was driving. So I was probably 14 or 15. And yeah, I was just being literally, there's no other way to describe it. I was being just like a little asshole. And
Yeah.
you took the head of broccoli and you threw it in the sink. Like you
It
didn't
like
throw it at
exploded.
it exploded. There's broccoli everywhere. And
Oh,
we had the same reaction that we're having now. I remember this. We both laughed. We were both like, oh my God, like I can't, like, we let it escalate so far that now we have to pick up broccoli, the
micro
little
broccoli.
individual broccoli leaves because the thing exploded.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I felt like I didn't regret too much parenting because I very rarely like had a throw the broccoli moment. I mean, I don't
I mean,
remember spanking you.
I'm pretty sure we just outlined like the three semi violent moments in my childhood. Like I think we just
Yeah.
named them all. So
Yeah.
yeah, I agree. There
Well,
were
I
few and
mean,
far between.
I really loved being a parent, and if you could accuse me of anything, it might be like the over analysis of how to be a good mom.
Yeah.
Because, I spent a lot of time reading about what was best for your, prepubescent child, and I mean, or your toddler, or your this, or your that, or how to get them, involved with wholesome activities. And I mean, I was always researching something, trying to figure out how to be a great mom. But then after that phase of my life, I had to fill in with other stuff. So that's why I have all this podcast, stuff to talk about as far as
Yeah.
Andrew Huberman um and who else was on? Oh, you know who was on Peter Attia this week was Arthur Brooks, my guy Arthur
Oh yeah,
Brooks.
I saw that. I saw that. I was
Yeah.
gonna listen to that. I'll listen to that on the way to dog training tonight. Oh, although I just started listening to a new book and it's really good. It's about like
Really?
a ex-military guy who he gets called back in because the terrorists are back. And I just love a book. I just love a book that a grandpa would love. I don't know
You
why,
are a
but I
grandpa
just
in some
do.
ways.
I just do. Like if your grandpa, like, oh my God, my friend Allison was telling me about these movies that her dad loves, and they're called the Jesse Stone movies. And the Jesse Stone is played by Tom Selleck, and
Oh, I
he's like
love
a
Tom Selleck.
ex-cop who gets like
Oh, he
called
plays
back
that so good.
in because yeah. And I said, are these based on books? She's like, yeah, they are. And I said, okay, great. Like I'm adding these to my list right now. And I was like, and you might want to tell your dad about the Joe Ledger series because I think he would like that. So me and my friend's 74-year-old father, we have the same taste in
Yeah.
entertainment. Yeah,
Yeah,
for
you
sure.
do. You've always had that. You that's not new. Yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
All
I've
right,
been
what are your
watching the
other fun
new
topics?
I've been watching the new Frasier.
Yeah, how is that?
Good. It's good.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I need to look up the writers. Like I don't know if they have the same writers as the first series or if someone like
Oh,
if like one of them consulted on it or something because
yeah.
they are writing the character of Frasier so well. And there are um all these like little nods to the original series that I just think
Really?
are so, oh my God, I just love it. The bar that they drink at is called Mahoney's, which John Mahoney played Martin Crane. And he died in
Oh, yeah.
2019, and they
Yeah.
called the bar Mahoney's, And I think that's
Oh,
so, I know it's really sweet. So I'm really enjoying it. I'm definitely having to separate the art from the artist because it has come out over the last 25 years that Kelsey Grammer is a complete and total dirtbag. So I'm really having to like put my personal like morals and feelings aside to enjoy this television show.
yeah, but okay, I don't really keep up with Hollywood like some people do. But is it true? I mean, can we believe what we read in like Entertainment Weekly or whatever? Or is it just, I mean, I know sometimes people get canceled for like saying the wrong thing but I don't know.
I
I'm
mean, but if
reluctant
they're
to believe
literally
everything.
saying it, like if they literally say it and it's like on video or like in an interview, like, yeah, maybe they're bad people. And it's not just like, oh, I thought I heard that Kelsey Grammer said that he didn't like immigrants. Like, I'm pretty sure, I mean, that's not exactly it, but he's like a total like Trumper. Um,
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that could it have been taken out of context? Like
no,
somebody could take
no.
a clip of of this recording and say that, oh,
Yeah, you should
they
beat your children.
yeah.
No, it's
Oh
not
yeah,
taken
I
out of
believe in
context.
spanking or,
No, he was not taken out of context. He's like a total like right winger,
damn it, I
wing
keep
nut.
hitting this thing. Do you see my camera move?
Yeah, it's fine.
Hmm,
Well, I'm
that's
sitting
me.
in a swivel chair and I've been doing this the whole meeting, so
Oh, that's not good. Yeah.
I know. Um, okay, so other fun things that I have going on. Nothing super fun, but have you heard of the show called Naked Attraction?
No, but did I tell you I started watching that show that oh, it's kind of freaky actually.
What
It's
show?
I told you which one it was. It's on Netflix with Christina Applegate. Dead to Me.
Oh, are you kidding me? It's not freaky at all. That's a comedy. What?
It is kind of freaky because
Are we
I mean
talking about the same show? Because
I
I
don't want to give it away, but the girl is like living with her and ran over her husband, and that is not a comedy.
you haven't laughed out loud once. It's quite funny.
I mean, I have laughed out loud, but it's
Yeah.
also kind of freaky.
I think it's what they call a dark comedy. Like it is about like murder and stuff, but it's also very funny. I like it a lot. Has the twin brother shown up yet?
No, who has a twin
Oh
brother?
shit. No one. No one. I don't know why I said that. Forget I said that.
Okay, well, have you
Also,
watched all of
the
it?
show is like 6 years old. So I don't, I hope I'm
People have
sorry for
watched it.
spoiling it for anyone. But no, it's excellent. I love it. Yeah, it's only like 3 or 4 seasons. I've watched it all. I really like it.
Okay. Okay, back to you. What are you watching?
Naked Attraction, which I call Naked and Afraid, but that's a different show.
Naked Attraction. So they're naked?
So Naked Attraction, it's a British show. And there are no rules in British TV. Like you can say fuck and you can be naked. And that's what this show is. Although they don't really say that many bad words. But they're all the way naked. So you have 6 singletons, and that's what they're called because they're British. Behind each pod, I have a naked singleton. So then the person comes out, one person with clothes on, and they're picking the naked people behind the pods. There's 6 naked people behind the pods, but they're behind a wall, right? So for the first round, it goes up to their like belly buttons. So you can see their legs and their like wieners or their other.
Are they all men?
Well, no, sometimes it's girls too. Like it's
Oh
sometimes it's naked
God,
girls and sometimes it's naked boys and
this
sometimes
is
it's naked girls and
horrible.
boys. No, it sounds horrible. It's actually awesome. It's a fantastic show. And hang on, let me explain why. So the first round, it goes up and then they are like, oh yeah, blue's got knobbly knees. Oh, look at the Willie on orange. And oh, red's got a nice bum. And oh, I don't like green's feet or whatever, right? And so then they eliminate someone based off of from the belly button down. They'll say, and so okay, here's why I think it's really nice. It's British TV, and maybe they're just more polite, or maybe they're like editing out people being mean. But I feel like Americans would be like, "Oh, that one's got a big ass, or that one's got a tiny wiener." I'm no, thank you. In
Oh my
the British one,
God.
in the British
This
one,
is ridiculous.
they're always like,
What has this world come to?
"Mom,
That
it's
we
really good.
literally
Listen, it's
are
really good. Oh my
showing
god."
people's wieners.
Yeah, you see the whole wiener. It's like not even blurred out. Like it is their full blown wiener.
What channel is this on?
It's on HBO. Okay, I'm like, can I finish? Because this is amazing. So
Oh,
they, so then they eliminate someone, and then the whole thing goes up, and it goes, and then they walk out, and they're like, "Oh, sorry, I eliminated you first. I just didn't like your, thigh tattoo or whatever." Not once has anyone said like, "Oh, he's got a super tiny weenie. I'm eliminating him." Like no one said that. In America, they totally would say that. In England, they're like so polite and so nice. And there are some tiny weenies, trust me. And so,
I mean, I could ask more detailed questions, but I am not going to.
hang on. And then the next round, it goes up
Wow.
to their shoulders. So you can see their boobs or their pecs
So you
or
can't see
whatever.
their face.
Not yet.
Okay.
So then it'll go up and, they'll say, "Oh, I'm eliminating them because, yeah, like one yesterday, one of the girls had like really, really, really big boobs. And the guy was like, I don't think I can handle boobs that big. I'm not man enough for boobs that big." And so he eliminated her or whatever, right? So then there's 4 left. Then in the next round, it goes up and they see their faces and they eliminate one because of that. Then there's 3 left. Then you get to hear them talk. And so they'll say, like, what's something that you like about your body or something you don't like about your body? And, they'll say, "Oh, I really like, me shoulders because I go to the gym every day." Or, "Oh, I love my hair because I have nice hair." They're British, right? And so then when it gets down to, so then they eliminate someone based off that. Then when it gets down to the final 2, they come out of the pods and the picker gets naked. And so then the picker is naked and the 2 other people are naked. And then the picker picks the final one and then they go out on a date. And I know it sounds totally wacky, but it's really sweet. Everyone is always like, no one has said anything mean about anyone's body ever. And trust me, these are not all people with like perfect bodies. These are like normal people. And I just feel like it's like really nice and heartwarming. Oh, and there are all these asides too. Well, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I don't like Pink because he's got too much pubic hair." And then it will like cut to another scene and it will be like, did you know that pubic hair is thought to have developed evolutionarily to prevent the sexually transmitted infections? And then, like, it's really funny and
So
it's
it's
really like
educational.
totally educational. And I just really like it. So Kevin and I have been watching Naked Attraction.
How many episodes have you watched?
10.
And how many are there?
I don't even know. I'm going to be sad when they run out because I really like it.
Oh my gosh. This sounds absolutely bizarre, Danielle.
I'm going to make you watch an episode when I'm there.
Okay.
It's really cute, trust me. So we've been watching Naked Attraction. And Kevin and I were like, which one would you eliminate? Which one would you pick? Which one would you like? We do it with each other too. And we try to see if we can pick who the picker is going to get rid of. We try to see if we could do that too. We have fun with it.
So are you still watching The Midwives?
No.
Oh, I'm still watching them. I'm almost done again with watching the whole series.
I thought about it. It popped up on my Netflix the other day, but I don't really remember where I left off. And I feel like it's a show that I'm happy to watch with you when I'm in Florida.
Well, I mean, I'd have to watch it a third time, but maybe we'll watch The Naked People.
We can watch one episode of The Naked People. I don't feel like I'm going to get you like super into that show, but I feel like I can make you watch an episode.
Yeah, I mean, it seems a little bit much for me. But
yeah. So anyways, that's what we've been watching. Last time we talked about, we haven't addressed it yet this time, and maybe this will be a good last conversation for us to have, is what we're working on. And last time the only thing that you were working on was just sticking to your habits that you already have and not really trying to implement anything new because you've been going through a stressful time with the dog. And has that been working?
Yeah, it's still stressful.
Have you been working out? I feel like I haven't been seeing that you've been working out.
So I feel like I am just wonky. I feel completely wonky right now because my routine is off because of her, because she is not crate trained. So
let this be a PSA to everybody listening. If your dog is not crate trained, start crate training them immediately in case they ever need to have their little doggy ACL repaired.
I really do. Yeah. I really do regret not crate training her. And I've never had a pet that was crate trained ever. And so
not a thing people did before.
No,
like
not in the 70s or 80s or 90s. I mean, I think somehow it just cropped up. And I appreciate why people do now crate train their dogs. I wouldn't want my dog to be crate trained and like to sleep in a crate or to be in a crate while I'm at work all day. But I will say right now, it is stressful that she's not crate trained because it's too late to crate train her now because she just digs and tries to get out and is upset. Now, here's the thing. She sleeps in a crate on my bed right now because I can't trust her that she won't jump down. So she has to be in a crate, but she's on top of the bed. And as long as I'm sitting there, she sleeps. She's fine. But goodness forbid if I get up to go somewhere like the bathroom in the middle of the night, she freaks out because she's not crate trained. So PSA, I agree with you. Crate train your dog. I'm off kilter right now. I am working out like this week. I think I worked out 4 days this week. I got up really early and walked Samson from 5:30 to 6:30, trying to get him tired so he would be calm, and that didn't work today. But yeah, I'm just off kilter, and I don't have any excuses for eating poorly, but I'm eating really poorly right now.
It's the holidays, which is not really an excuse, but it is an explanation.
Yeah. So
I ate really badly this weekend, but it's Monday, but I'm doing okay so far today.
Yeah. So what I'm going to focus on for the next week is just really trying to get my eating back to normal. I made a green drink this morning. I mean, I drank it, but I also had a leftover turkey sandwich, which is really unusual for me, and some chocolate chip cookies with no chocolate chips. I didn't have any, so I made chocolate chip cookies with no chocolate chips, which were really good. I ate the whole
It's a
batch.
sugar cookie. It's a
Yeah,
sugar
kind
cookie.
of. But chocolate chip batter is not sugar
Yeah,
cookie batter.
I
It's
know it has
chocolate
less
chip
sugar in
batter.
it for sure.
Yeah. It was good though. Super good.
Sounds really
Yeah.
good. That sounds really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
You
Have
so
no idea
you
why
don't
I do this to myself.
like you put in the work to make the batch of cookies.
Yeah.
You didn't even have any like cacao nibs to put in it or anything.
Mm-mm. Yeah. Just chocolate chip cookie batter.
I ate a loaf of bread yesterday.
Oh.
So no, not quite a whole loaf. A loaf less 4 pieces, so three
That's a loaf.
quarters of a loaf.
That's a lot.
Yeah, because I made us French toast on Thanksgiving, and I had the leftover bread, so I ate it.
Go lay down.
It was super good. But I
Yeah.
was working on finishing all of my Notion stuff for my clients, and I did it. I got there. I finished.
That's right. I remember that.
Yeah, I finished putting my getting my contracts in because I wanted to link it to my link my contracts, and then I wanted to for my new clients um, that have onboarded in the last like month. Like I want to do DocuSign because like previously I wasn't using
Yeah.
DocuSign because I think I said this last week. Like DocuSign's $10 a month or whatever, but when you're first starting out a business, it's like, well, if a Word document is a legally binding thing, then I'm not going to spend the $10 on DocuSign right now.
Yeah.
But now, my business is at a place where I can afford the DocuSign. So
That's good.
I'm doing that going forward. And so I was able to get a couple of like the DocuSigns done today. I had 2 clients that like it was outstanding, but they hadn't done it yet. So I was like, hey, like don't forget to sign this. And so they did. So I'm like, I don't know. I still want to say like I'm like 90% done with Notion because there are still a couple of things that I want to go in and do. And like I still have some clients that I'm done with, but I would still like to put all of their stuff in Notion just so it's all in one place, you
Yeah, that
know?
makes sense.
So I still have like a little bit of that stuff I need to do, but it's not super urgent. So anyways, what I will be working on this week is I don't even know. I feel like I'm like really like up to date. Seriously, I feel really good. I feel like I'm like really up to date with like everything in my business. I feel like I didn't work out yesterday or today, which is weird for me. I did walk. I mean, I walked like 7 miles yesterday and
Well, why don't you go back to food if you're eating loaves of bread?
yeah, I could do that. I don't know. I feel like I hate making that a goal, but I don't know why. I just do.
Well, I mean, nutrition, sleep, and exercise. Those are the 3 biggies. And
Yeah.
Rhonda Patrick says that exercise is so huge. I just reran my genetic report through her analyzer. Have you done that?
No, I've never done the genetic thing.
You've never done 23andMe?
Mm-mm.
Huh. Okay.
So
Well,
it
you
might not
just
be a
take
bad idea.
Yeah, you take your raw data and just put it through. Her website is Found My Fitness, and you have to
Mhm.
be a Patreon member, but I'm a premium member because it's so worth it for her. She has so much. She has like a plethora of resources related to health, and I just reran it, and I'm like, oh, I need to do whatever it takes for that Alzheimer gene because I've got the
Oh, really?
Jack 2, yeah, both
Oh,
alleles, the
ooh.
CC allele. Yeah.
Oh my God, does that mean I'm
So
gonna have it?
maybe 50-50 chance, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know enough about genetics. I don't think it's all always 50-50. I don't really understand.
I don't either. And one of my questions on her website, because as a Patreon member, we get like a member only question answer once a month, the first Saturday of every month. And so I
Oh,
go to
nice.
Crowdcast and like you log your questions, and then the members like upvote, the ones that they are
Oh,
interested
yeah.
in. So, and she'll do like rapid fire questions at the end of the segment. And if you're on, then she'll prioritize you, to answer your questions, the people who are actually on live.
Yeah.
But one of my questions, and I'm like, oh, I don't know if this is a stupid question, but I ask it anyhow. But do you ever should you ever redo your genetic testing? Does your genetic testing ever change? Like for someone who's gone through like chemotherapy, radiation, like does that, because I know that causes radiation, for example, will cause a double-stranded break in some of your DNA. So I
I
wonder,
don't
because
know.
I know, I'm like, is that a stupid question or not? But
Like,
I
I don't
asked
think
it.
it, like, I don't think it changes like the core of your DNA, but could it change like the expression
Yeah.
of your
I don't know. So
DNA?
I asked
I
the
don't even know.
question.
I have
So
no idea. Genetics is very much not anything that I ever like. I remember doing like the little genetics chart, in like middle school
yeah.
and like high school of like what color will the kittens be? Like, I don't know. And I don't actually care. I don't want to be a biologist or a geneticist. So
Well,
that's
I
something
love the
about me.
field.
That's something about me that I've known for a really long time. I have a really hard time putting effort into things I do not care about. I have to really care about something to want to work towards it.
I feel like that's everybody, though. I feel like if you're not motivated, it's hard to put effort in. Yeah.
No, I don't know. I feel like
Some
some
people are,
people are like easily able to like push through than
yeah,
others, whereas I'm like, no, I'll just
yeah.
drop out of college. I don't, no,
No, like your friend Katie, it's funny. You know how I
that's what I
always
was
look at
thinking
my,
about.
yeah,
That's
my
exactly who I was thinking
photos.
about. I don't think
So when
Katie
I,
loved every single piece of her education, but she's pushed through, right?
that girl,
I'm not pushing through.
I'm telling you, you know how I look at my pictures and I put in the date and it like brings up all the pictures from
Yes,
November
I know.
27th,
Part of your morning routine.
part of my morning routine. Yeah. So yesterday, I think a picture came up of you and Katie at my mom's house not long
Yeah.
after she died. And Katie, guess what was on Katie's lap? You were like sleeping next to Katie and like all cuddled up. And Katie was sitting there smiling. And guess what was on Katie's lap?
Her
4
notebook.
textbooks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that girl, she amazed me. Like, she could be over the house when y'all were in high school, and there'd be like shit going on everywhere, chaos, loud, just teenagers. And here Katie be in the chair by herself with the ottoman, just doing her work.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
She
never
was
me.
super disciplined. Yeah. I mean,
No.
me either. So,
Well,
um, what else? I want to ask you one final question, and I want this to be one of the questions that I always ask. I don't want to forget.
okay.
Give me something without revealing any particulars about a client. Give me something you're working on with a client right now, a goal that you're trying to, or something that you're working on with one of your clients.
Good question. Oh man, I wish I would have known about this before. I wish I would have looked at the note because it's in the note.
With a number
Prepared note
associated with it
with the
and not a
numbers.
checkbox.
So I would have had something like really exciting to talk about.
Well, I mean, you don't
I
have to, you can always modify
okay,
the
here's something that
podcast,
is
right?
maybe
Cut
not
something.
maybe not fun, but applicable, right? Something that I'm working on with
Yeah.
a client. I have a client that we are working on like her plan to declutter her house and reorganize her house.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Because so many people are not organized and they are so not happy with their lives because
And they
they
don't know where to
feel
start. They
chaotic.
don't know where to
Yeah.
start.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's overwhelming, right? You look at your house and there's like something on every single surface and something behind every single door. And it's like, what
Oof.
do I even do? Well, I'm just going to not think about it for another day. And it just becomes like too much to handle. So, yeah, that's something that, yeah, like I said, not like, oh my God. And then we talked about how she's going to reorganize her closet this week. Like, okay, not like necessarily the most exciting, fun topic in the world, but I think I think it's good to bring up because a lot of times like people ask me like, what do you coach your clients on? What do you do? When I say like anything, anything. I've got a client. I'm helping her reorganize her house. I'm not doing it, but we're meeting every week and talking about it and setting a
Yeah.
plan. And she's
Yeah, I think that's good. And
she's
her
got
life
that
will be better
accountability.
for it.
Yeah,
See the
exactly.
little instigator right there?
He's
He's
just
the
sitting
one who's
there.
jumping
He's just sitting
around.
there being a good boy. Why are you being so
He's
mean to him? Look at him.
he's
He's
been
being so
whining.
good. Look at
Okay,
him
he is
being
being good
now.
right now. He is being good right now.
Oh,
Yeah, you should have seen him today on the cameras as I was like in meetings looking at my phone going, oh my gosh,
yeah,
this
it's crazy.
dog. And Sophie's sitting there, but I know she wants to jump too.
Yeah.
Oh, all right, sweetie.
Okay. Well, till next time.